She pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong. Rain struck the battlefield like drumbeats from the gods. Soft at first, then harder, as if warning the living that the dead were watching. Kale stood with his hands bound behind his back, blood trailing from the corner of his mouth. He was bruised, battered, exhausted, and smiling. Before him, blade drawn, stood Commander Velaria of the Rail Theory Empire. Alien, ruthless, tall and armored in crimson plates that shimmered faintly in the dim light. Her violet eyes burned with fury, framed by the twin crests of her warrior heritage. Behind her, the remnants of the skirmish smoldered. Human troops, routed, his own squad, captured or dead. Kale alone remained standing. Barely. You killed my brother, Velaria said coldly, the sword steady in her grip. I should let you rot. But honor demands I grant you a last breath. Use it well, human. Kale looked up at her, blood drying on his face. You sure you want to hear it? She narrowed her eyes. He tilted his head, gazed on the blade she held poised at his throat. You're holding it wrong. The silence that followed could have shattered glass. Her eyes flashed. What did you say? Kale chuckled. The grip? Your thumb's too tight and your wrist angled too much. You're used to a heavier blade. That one's human forged. Balanced differently. You'll twist your elbow when you strike. Velaria blinked once. She looked down briefly at the sword, then back at him. Fury growing. You mock me before death? No, Kale replied, his voice quieting. I'm just telling you how not to get killed in a real duel. That did it. She lunged. Fast. Precise. Enough to cleave an unarmored man in two. But Kale moved, even with his hands tied. A sidestep, a twist, and her blade slashed air. He brought up one boot and kicked her knee hard. She stumbled just enough. He pivoted, arms rising behind him in an arc, and brought his bound fist down onto her wrist. The sword dropped. He caught it with both hands mid-fall, spinning once to remove the slack from the ropes binding him, slicing through them against the blade's edge. In one movement, the rope snapped and Kale stood free. And armed. Velaria froze, mouth parted. Kale grinned, blade in hand. Now that's how you hold it. She leapt back, regaining her footing. But he didn't press forward. He waited. You planned this, she growled. No, Kale said honestly. But I knew if I stayed alive long enough, someone like you would give me a chance. She steadied herself. You're wounded. You won't win this. Kale shrugged. You could have just shot me. But no honor duel. Your culture's very dramatic like that. Velaria's lip curled. Insult me again and die quicker. I'm just buying time, he said. For what? He pointed skyward. The sky, dim with smoke and storm, flickered once, then again. Dropships. Human. Cloaked until now. Her eyes widened. You signaled them. He nodded. I told them, give me 10 minutes. That's all I need. She moved fast again, drawing her secondary blade. A curved rail blade glowing faintly with energy. This time, Kale charged. Steel rang against alien alloy. Sparks flew. They moved through the wreckage of war, boots sliding on wet metal and ash. Velaria was stronger. He was faster. Each move tested the other. They weren't just trying to kill. They were trying to understand. I didn't kill your brother, Kale growled between strikes. He died on your blade. He tried to take my head off. I was defending my squad. He gave no quarter. Because we were at war. And now... Kale dodged a sweep and kicked a smoking beam aside. Still at war? She didn't answer. They circled, both breathing heavily now. Maybe your people taught you humans are savages, Kale said. But we're just people. Same as you. Bleed the same. Lose the same. Velaria swung again, but slower now. Her anger waned. Doubt crept in. He pressed. Why did you really spare me? Not for honor. You've killed prisoners before. I needed to see your face before you died, she snapped. Then look close, he said. Do I look like a monster? She hesitated. That hesitation cost her. Kale fainted, then disarmed her, knocking her blade into the mud. He held the tip of his sword inches from her throat. She didn't move, didn't flinch. Her hands stayed at her sides, chest rising and falling. Do it, she said softly. Kale looked down at her, then dropped the sword. The splash startled her. What are you doing? He stepped back. This war won't end with one more death, but it might end with one more life. Velaria's breath caught. Above them, human dropships landed. Troops poured out. Behind her, alien forces raised their weapons, and then lowered them when she raised her hand. The silence returned. No gunfire. No shouting. Just rain. She walked toward Kale. Her armor hissed as it retracted partially from her face. You surprise me, human. Kale. Velaria. She studied him, eyes unreadable now. You fight like a warrior. You speak like a fool. Maybe, but fools survive sometimes. He glanced at the wreckage around them. Too many didn't. Her eyes softened, barely. What now? Maybe we talk. Maybe you go home and say, I spared a human and he spared me. Maybe someone listens. You think peace is that simple? No, but it has to start somewhere. Velaria stood in silence for a long time. The rain washed the blood from both of them. Then she reached down, picked up the human forged sword, and held it out to him, hilt first. You were right, she said. He took it. You were holding it wrong. A flicker of amusement crossed her face. That night, no one else died on that battlefield. A temporary truce was called. Medics from both sides treated the wounded. Fires were put out, and the air began to clear. Velaria and Kale sat beneath the wing of a downed dropship, watching the stars pierce through the clouds. I thought all humans were the same, she admitted quietly. I thought all Railtheri wanted to conquer Earth, he replied. She looked at him. We still might. He raised an eyebrow. That a threat? A warning. But she was smiling. He smirked. I'll be ready. Will you show me again? She asked. Show you what? How to hold it properly. The sword. He looked at her for a long time, then nodded. Yeah, he said, but only if you promise not to point it at me next time. No promises human. But she laughed, and for the first time in years, the night didn't feel like war.